To get today's class and session started, I would like everyone to put in the chat some place or a time that you experienced an amazing experience from a company. It could be a vacation you went on. It could be a store that you purchased something from. But I would love everyone to share one time, their favorite time that they experienced and were wowed by a company. For me, it was when we were on our Disney trip. I was completely taken aback about how the whole experience went with my kids. So I would love for everyone to share in the chat while we are waiting for people to roll in today. And then we'll get started. I'm so excited for today's event because I think client experience is something that is overlooked, especially by new stylists. I think it's something that we kind of forget about because we're so, into our day-to-day and everything kind of seems monotonous. And when we actually take time to pause and really think about the way clients experience our business, it allows us to have an insight and a look on the things that we can change in order to retain and build our reputation. So I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. Again, if you can add to the chat one place where you felt you had an amazing client experience. We'll get started here shortly. Dubai hotel guest experiences. Emirates flight attendants, awesome. Just got back from vacation and had an incredible experience. The details, anticipation, what we wanted is what stood out the most. Perfect. I love that. I think too, when I was at Disney, I think it was the experience of everyone just being excited to see us, no matter where we went in Disney, what restaurant, what hotel, even the rides. Every single person was so excited to see my daughter in her dress. Everyone addressed my daughter as princess because she wore a different princess dress every day. I think the ability to course correct when things didn't go as planned was another huge outlook that I had from Disney. There were a couple times where the rides were, malfunctioning or the electronics weren't working properly, so they had to close down. And moving us to the next experience was so seamless and smooth that you wouldn't even know there was something wrong because they knew how to fix the problem even before it arose, right? I think those are all things to anticipate. And I think too, like making sure that the experience is consistent. At Disney, everything was so consistent and spot on, no matter what park we went to or what restaurant on the grounds we were at. Everything was so spot on. And again, every person in the park was excited to see us. Everything was just really, really great. Okay, so we're going to get started. First and foremost, why I'm here talking to you today. My name is Patricia. I own a commission salon. I own 9 salon suites that I rent out to independent stylists. I have an education company for salon owners, and I have been in the salon industry for well over 20 years. I've worked in every single aspect or any single situation inside of our industry. I worked in a commission salon for 10 years. I rented a chair for 3 years. I have had a commission salon, which I have now. I've had a rental salon. So I've really experienced all facets of the beauty industry, which has definitely given me so much experience, and it's just different outlooks for the information I'm going to share with you today. I also want to state that investing in my growth, investing in my mindset, investing in education is one of the things that definitely has catapulted me and my team into success. And I really think that the more that you can absorb and the more information you take on and the more things that you can execute in your business is truly what is going to help you expand and grow. And always having an open mind and open mindset is something that will definitely create success for you inside of your business. There was one year where I invested so much money into education. I was a new stylist and I was just kind of feeling stuck and broken. And I felt like nothing I was doing was working. So I was like, either I'm going to not do hair anymore or I'm going to go all in. I decided to go all in. I took out a credit card and put $10,000 worth of education on this credit card. And within 1 year, I ended up doubling my income plus some. And I was able to obviously pay off the credit card, but really investing in education and really having that experience showed me the power of self-investment. And it was one of those things that like I just did on a risk, and it ended up being one of the best things of my whole entire career. I've also coached countless salon owners to build successful businesses for themselves and really work on their mindset and their leadership. And it's something that I'm so passionate about today, is really helping salon owners and helping stylists truly build a successful, very profitable business for themselves. So that is who I am and why I'm here talking to you today. I want to start off with what is the customer service experience. Really starting off with a definition will kind of give you an understanding of what is to expect for today's session. So, customer service experience is a holistic phrase describing how your customers feel during and after their interaction with your brand or your product, whether it is directly or indirectly. Indirectly would be through your marketing and your social media. And it starts from the moment they find you online to when they're browsing your site and when they're chatting with your customer service department or you or your receptionist. And then it goes into the buying something, which is part of the client process. And then after the purchase has been made. So there is a strategic way that people think about the buying process. And when we are creating a business, we really have to take into consideration the customer journey that they go through before deciding to choose us as their stylist. So, number one is the awareness stage. This is when you are doing your marketing. This is when you're doing your social media, your email marketing. This is when the client is aware that they have a problem that you might be able to solve for them. And this is when they are introduced to your brand and when they start looking or are interested in finding a new salon. Then they go into the consideration stage. And this is when the client is going to consider their options. And this is when your marketing really comes into play. Client experience isn't just about when somebody is in your business. It's the entire experience they have when they first are introduced to you. So this is why social media is so important. This is why your website is so important. The client funnel and the process that the client goes through before they actually choose you is very strategic and it's very calculated. And I think having an understanding of all of these pieces and the importance of these pieces, because the psychological journey that people go through is consistent from person to person. So when we can understand this, we can start creating content and we can start creating our experience around this journey so that we can truly start attracting clients. I think now more than ever, people are very, very cautious and being very calculated with how they spend their money. And I know that every single person in all of these groups that I'm in on Facebook and just clients and different coaching students that I'm working with, the common problem right now is they aren't as busy as they used to be. And I think that's because a lot of people are just being very, very smart and really trying to find the value and more value for what they're spending their money on. And not only their dollars, people are really being very calculated or making a calculated decision on how they're spending their time. I can honestly tell you when I first started out in the industry, Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays were our busiest time. And as a salon owner, ever since 2020, Saturdays is our slowest day People do not want to spend their weekends in the salon. Our busiest days now are Tuesdays and Thursdays because people are really being very, very conscious on how they're spending their money and how they're spending their time. So after they go through the consideration stage, they're going to go to the decision stage. And this is when the client makes the appointment inside of your salon. Now, there are two ways that people are going to find your business, and that's either one through Google or through social media, right? So when we're talking about attracting new clients, we really need to look at the places that our clients are coming from, and we really have to get a bird's eye view of what the client is experiencing from the client journey and the client process. If someone is looking and finding you through Google, they're going to be looking at your reviews, they're going to be looking at Yelp, they're going to be looking at your website. People who are coming from Google are actively looking for a new salon. People who find you on social media might not be looking for a new salon, but they may consider you later. But most of the time when people are looking for a new salon, it's coming from Google. So really making sure that that is set up properly to attract and help the customer journey is so important. And then after we do the decision stage, then we're going to go into the affirm stage, which is usually after the client has made their decision, they're in your salon, they've received the service. And a lot of times people will have buyer's remorse, right? They will, go home. They're not sure they like the way their hair looks. Maybe they shouldn't have tried another stylist. We need to nurture at every single stage of the client journey. So are you nurturing them when they are thinking about coming to your salon with your marketing and the value you're giving? Are you nurturing them during the decision stage where they've actually come to your salon, received a service? Are you nurturing them after they've experienced your salon and after they've experienced what you've given them inside of your business? And then when we've done all of that properly, that's when we create a raving fan. And that's the advocate stage. And that's when they feel like they're a part of an exclusive club, when they've become a repeat client, and when they send you referrals. This is not something I've made up. This is a very, very studied, calculated thing that a lot of marketing people have, really put research into. So if you are not familiar with the customer journey, I highly recommend taking a screenshot of this slide so you can really get familiar with this, because this is what every single client is going to go through before they have even reached your business or come into your business and after they leave your business. So I always like to start with this because this is really important. Okay, before I move to the next slide, I'm going to give you a second. Take a screenshot of this if you're not familiar with the customer journey. And then we're going to move into your client experience is more than fancy amenities. It's making your clients feel cared for and comfortable from the moment they book their appointment. I think a lot of people will kind of overlook the very simple things that really add to the client experience. And we're going to go over all of those things today. But most importantly, I think people forget that usually when people are purchasing something, it's because of the way that it makes them feel. When we are making decisions in our business, when we are putting out content, when we are putting out marketing, any sort of marketing thing, if it's an email, whatever it might be, we have to ask ourselves, how will this make somebody feel? Because people usually buy on emotion. It's not usually logical. So when we have that perspective of how are we making people feel, you may look at your marketing and the way that you present your business in a different way. So this is something else that I think is really powerful for anyone who is a salon owner out there. How can your team deliver a wow experience if they've never been wowed? I think as a salon owner, we, have standards and expectations for our team, and we expect our team to have an understanding of what experience is, when in reality, most of our team members are very young and they've never had an experience themselves. A lot of them have never stayed in a 5-star hotel. Most of them have never eaten at a very fancy or, a 5-star Michelin restaurant. They've never really experienced a fancy or expensive hair service. A lot of people have never experienced that. When you haven't experienced something yourself, it's really hard to understand what that means or how to deliver that. One thing that I really like to express to my salon owners is when you are onboarding a new stylist, how are you wowing them? Because that's where the experience factor really can come into play, and you can really start to set the standards for your team by showing them what an experience really is. I always like to give the analogy of Louis Vuitton. I don't know if any of you have been to like a higher end store like a Louis Vuitton or Gucci, or been to a five-star restaurant or stayed at a five-star hotel. If you have, you understand what level is expected. I think when we talk about these places, if you had this expectation of having an experience and you went to something like Louis Vuitton or, Gucci, and you walked into one of these beautiful stores that had, these extremely expensive things, if somebody was there and they, were dressed like they worked at Walmart or spoke like they worked at, a lower priced place, then your expectations would not be met, right? So when we are talking about delivering experience, it's so much more than just the service we provide. It's the way we speak, it's how we're dressed, it's, how we communicate. It's all of the things. Okay, I'm going to go to the chat here because we had someone. Hi, I am an AI assistant helping Brittany who take notes for this meeting. You will also be able to see the screen. Awesome. Perfect. That's pretty cool. I wish I had an AI to do that for me all the time. Okay. So when we talk about experience, we have to understand what an experience is. I always like to tell my girls that if they are struggling with client experience, go somewhere and get a blowout. Find one of the most expensive places in Chicago. Go and get a blowout. See what the experience is like, and then you can truly understand what your clients are going through. I think we have to make sure that when we are talking to our team and training our team, really being able to communicate what experience means is truly important. Okay. I always like to do this as well because I think a lot of us set up systems, processes, policies inside of our business, and we actually never walk through the process. So when was the last time you walked through your client process from the client perspective? And when was the last time you actually asked your clients what that process was like for them? We do a lot of surveys inside of our business. Surveys aren't fun because when you get negative feedback or feedback that isn't positive, it can sting a little bit. But it is so important to understand the client process, because if there is a hole or a gap or anything that creates any sort of frustration, you're going to lose the client, or you may not get the client to come back. And the whole idea when we are creating our business is to receive and create repeat guests. And that starts before the client is even in your business. So when we talk about where the client process begins, it really begins with your branding and marketing, and then the booking process. So here are some things that you want to think about before setting up these systems inside of your business and what it looks like from the client perspective, right? So excessiveness. If you have excessive policies and procedures, that's totally fine. But in order to really have really tight policies and procedures, a really strict cancellation policy, before you can even do any of those things, you really need to make sure that you have built your brand reputation and your demand. If you do not have a brand reputation and you do not have demand, demanding things from your customers immediately is going to detour them. It's just going to push people away. So you really need to take a look at your policies and procedures, and you need to see and ask yourself, Do I have the brand reputation for this? Do I have the demand for this? And is this helping or hurting my business? You know, a lot of us have, you know, very strict cancellation policies, which I am totally down for, hands down. I do not want people booking and no showing my team. But if your, you know, cancellation policy is like 2 pages long and it's super scary and somebody hasn't booked with you before and you haven't built that trust yet, then that person's probably not going to book with you, right? If you are a newer business or a newer stylist, your main focus is to get people in your chair. Once you've built your brand reputation and your demand, then you can start implementing stricter policies. But if you are a new business and you've got super strict policies and no clients, that's only going to hurt your business. It's only going to deter people from booking with you, right? So you really need to take a look at your policies and procedures. You also need to look at the process that your client goes through. Are you making your client jump through hoops? If you are requiring a card on file, again, totally understand if you're doing this for your business, you have to understand you have to build trust first. If you have not built any trust with somebody who's going to book with you, they're not going to trust you with their credit card. They're just not. So what you need to do to build trust is your reputation has to be great. You have to have good demand, and you also have to have really strong social media. You have to have really strong marketing. Those are all things that are going to build trust with your customer so that when you are requiring a card on file, it's not going to make someone go, ooh, I don't trust this business. I don't trust them with my card, so I'm not going to book here. We've all been somewhere where it's like, oh, it's requiring a card on file, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to book here. Again, if you have that brand reputation and all those things set, you're good to go. But you have to build the trust first before someone is going to give you their credit card. I can honestly tell you that we required a deposit for people who booked with us online. It was $25. Our online booking went down and our new client requests went down. You need to look at these things and you need to ask yourself, if you're going to require a deposit, then you have to look at all of the things in your business. Is this going to help my business or is this going to hurt my business? Okay, so Melissa said, yes, this is so true. My clients have mentioned if it's too much work to book online, they just won't, and they will forget it. It's always good to get feedback. Here's the thing. If my card doesn't auto enter into something that requires my card, I don't buy it. That's just me as a consumer. If I'm going to book somewhere and it requires a card on file and I have to physically go to my purse and get my card, then I'm not going to book. And this is the perfect example. My husband bought me a gift certificate for a spa, the Kohler Spa. It's in Illinois, and I think there's one in Michigan or Wisconsin. And he bought me a gift certificate 4 years ago. I have not booked with this spa because booking with them was a pain in the ass and it required a credit card and my credit card would not autofill in order to reserve my spot. I had a $400 gift certificate, but because their booking process was so annoying to me, it took me 4 years to use the gift certificate. Now, can you imagine people who don't have like a financial investment already in the business? If your booking process is annoying, then it's going to deter people from booking from you. Have you noticed an increase in your no-shows or cancellations without a card on file? No. We don't have a lot of no-shows and cancellations. Our no-show and cancellation is very, very minimal. And I think, and we're going to go over this process with you today, it's because of our client process. And it's because of our pre-appointment emails and the way that I make my team reach out before the client is even in our salon and when the clients book. So, we do a lot of things beforehand to make sure, like if somebody doesn't respond to my stylist email, my manager will reach out to them. If they don't respond to the manager's email, then we will cancel their appointments. If it's a last minute appointment, like say they book the night before or the same day, I have my co-stylist or my manager reach out to them to get information that they need for the appointment so my stylist can prepare. Have you noticed, oh, you're proactive. Yes, proactivity is very important, especially for the client experience because clients feel valued when you are prepared. Okay, so are you making your clients jump through hoops? Are you making them fill out long forms? Anything that interrupts the booking process, people have a very short attention span. It can cause irritation and frustration. Anything that is going to make our clients feel any sort of negative emotion is going to impact the way that they experience your business. So you need to go through and see how the process is and see how it makes you feel and ask your clients how they feel going through your process. Remember, feelings are everything. Feelings are what create an experience. It's all about how we make people feel. Is any part of your booking process, is there any confusion? Is your website hard to navigate? Is your online booking hard to navigate? Again, we have to make sure that these are not creating confusion, frustration. Is your menu confusing? And do people not know what to book? So when we talk about also the client process, do people feel neglected after they leave your business? Is there buyer's remorse? Do they feel undervalued? And when we're talking about doing consultations and things, do people feel like they're just passed off or do they feel nurtured throughout the entire process? So walking through your client experience is something that all of you should do today. If you don't want to walk through your own client experience, you can offer somebody a $5 or a $10 Starbucks gift card. Post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm offering a $10 Starbucks gift card for somebody to go through my client or walk through my client process. And fill out a survey. And after they fill out a survey, then you can give them the gift card. But then they can rate your client process, your booking process on a scale from 1 to 10. Was it easy to book? Do you feel like you knew my service menu well? Rate my website, was it easy to navigate? These are all things that we can ask in the survey and get an honest response from somebody just by offering them a $5 or a $10 investment. And that will really give you the information you need to know for this portion of the client experience. This is honestly the most important part of the client experience, to be honest, because this is where you'll actually gain a new client or you will lose a client. Because once they've gone through this process, if they get frustrated, they're probably not going to take a second look at your business again, especially if they're coming from Google. They're just going to go to the next person on the Google recommendation list, and they're going to see if their client process is easier. So if you are in a spot right now where you feel like your new requests are down, you feel like you're not gaining any new clients, I guarantee it has something to do with your pre-appointment and your client booking experience, and it's something that you need to take a look at. Okay, so this is my walkthrough of what my stylist and my team do inside of my salon. So the pre-appointments, what feelings does this create for the guest? Reassurance, excitement. This is where we start to build trust, and this is where we start to make the client feel valued, right? Again, we're going back to the feelings that we're creating for the people that are coming into our business. This isn't just about the pre-appointment. This is about how we're making people feel, right? So here are some things that we do for the pre-appointment. There are little appointment touches that have a big impact. We contact the client, and this is a get to know you. This is, informing the clients on what they should expect before coming to our space during the service, parking situations, traffic. In this email, you should give the clients all of the information they need to have an easy trip from their home to your business. There is nothing more frustrating when a client gets stuck in traffic or there's confusion on parking, or maybe you have an address that's hidden and they can't find your building. For me, in my salon, we have salon suites and we have a salon. And there was a time when I first opened my salon suites that clients were confused on what entrance to go into. So this is included in the pre-appointment email. So they have no, no frustration from getting to their home into my space. So what are some things that your client should expect? What are some, little hiccups that they can experience on the way to your space? Like if you have like evening appointments, that's there's a certain area that there's a lot of traffic. Can you tell them to avoid that area before, their appointment, to take a different route? These are all things that are going to, again, make them feel confident and make them feel reassured when they're getting to your salon. This also allows my team to create a hair plan for each guest. In the email, we ask for a current photo of their hair, and we ask for an inspiration photo. This is so important on so many different levels. This allows my stylist to create a plan for the client, formulations, what sort of technique they're going to use, what foil pattern they might need to have to use or put together. So when the client is in the salon, my team already knows what they're going to do or has an idea of what they're going to do. So my team isn't guessing or, coming up with the plan when the client is sitting in the chair. They've already connected with the client. They already have an understanding of what the client is looking for. My team then has an understanding of the right consultation questions to bring to the table for their consultation so that their appointment is customized. It's not random consultation questions that are just like, the same questions they ask everybody. If somebody's coming in and their inspiration picture was a golden blonde, they can ask questions about the golden blonde that they're looking for, right? So it really is custom tailored to each person, and the team is going into the appointment with confidence, right? How many times have you had a new client, like say when you were, working in a commission space and you didn't know who was coming in or what to expect, right? Most of the time, my stylists know what they look like because they've already had a picture of their current hair. So when the client comes in, they know who to greet. They know what the client looks like. They know what the client's hair looks like. And they're going into the appointment with confidence. And I feel like when you exude confidence, the client can feel that. And that's, again, a part of building that trust and building that excitement for the client because they're not nervous or as nervous when the stylist is confident. So these, again, are simple things that you can do, that you can even schedule out if you don't want to take time emailing every day. We literally have a copy and paste template that I provide for my team. They literally go into we have Kajabi. They copy and paste the pre-appointment email, make a few adjustments, and then they send it to the client. It's not hard. It doesn't take that much extra time. It also allows to gauge your space. So the pre-appointment isn't just the email. If you are not doing a walkthrough of your space every single shift, or having somebody, if you're a salon owner, doing a walk through your space and taking a look at your surroundings, you should be looking at the outside of your space. You should be looking at your bathrooms. You should be looking at your retail area, the salon floor, making sure that it is ready to go for every single person that walks in is so important. There's nothing worse than sitting down at, if you're, think about if you're going to get your nails done or if you're going to get a service done yourself and it's dirty or it just doesn't look clean or it looks messy or unkept, or if there are towels anywhere. You should be checking your space before you open, and you should be looking at the cleanliness and is it prepared for each guest? Like your stylist should have time, and you should have time to reset your space for every single client that's walking through the door. Obviously, that's very hard when you have a lot of stylists and you're very busy, but resetting your station for each guest is so important, especially now more than ever. Nobody wants to sit down in a dirty space that hasn't been wiped down. Nobody wants to sit in anybody else's old hair. Like this is, again, really important. This is like a non-negotiable. And all of your team members should know this. All of them should have time to reset the space for every guest. So the greeting, this is something that my team struggles with. I don't know why. If you have the ability, and this is something that was even more, I know I spoke about this in the beginning of today, more important than ever is being upfront and waiting for your client. I have a doorbell. We keep our door locked in my salon, and clients have to ring the doorbell in order to get access to my space. I think now more than ever, safety is something that is always on my mind. So it is so important that my team is up front waiting for their clients, so our clients are not waiting at the door. And I think being excited, and again, my Disney experience, everyone was excited to see us. There was always somebody greeting us no matter where we went. And that really impacted my personal experience on my vacation. And I really think it makes a huge impact on the way that our clients see our stylists and see us. So waiting up front, then the clients aren't, unsure of where they should be going, what they should be doing. Are you making the most of your greeting? Are you ready for them? One, are you smiling? Do you sound happy and excited to see your client? Are you making and taking the opportunity to make your client feel comfortable and welcome? What does your body language look like? And you want to make sure that you're there to guide them into where they need to go for their experience. I did end up using that gift certificate for the Kohler Spa. And when I was greeted in this spa, it was actually a really incredible service and an experience for me. They were waiting for me at the door. They had a hot towel so I could clean my hands. And they had a little brochure that really explained what to expect for my spa day. And they had all the instructions on what I needed to do with my clothes, how to use the locker, what I could and couldn't bring into the spa area. Like there were no electronics. So I didn't have to guess on that or get reprimanded for having my phone. Like I knew automatically to leave my phone in the locker. Everything was laid out for me, like how to utilize the space, how to utilize the whirlpool and like the sauna, like all of the things were on this card. Not only was I given a card when and brought back to the actual locker room, but the person who brought me back actually explained everything to me as well. And it was a really nice experience because I had never been to this place before. And to be honest, not that I've never been to a spa before. I have not been in a spa, like just a full-on spa in years. So I was like kind of nervous because I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, where do I go? Like, do I leave my clothes on? Don't I leave my clothes on? And it literally gave me instructions for everything. So I didn't feel weird or I didn't feel uneasy. I know it's a great spa, Angela. She said that she loves that spa. Okay. So when we talk about the greeting, this is our first real impression, in-person impression for our guests. And I think it's something that's overlooked. A lot of people will walk up front, be like, oh, hey, how are you? Come on back. Let's get started on your hair. Like, that's not impactful. Like, we need to be impactful. Like eye contact. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Shaking their hand. I cannot wait to get started on your experience today. I looked over your email and I had the opportunity to create such a great plan for your hair today. And I can't wait to share that with you. That is impactful. So we really need to look at all of these areas and all of the ways that we are doing things in our business and our team is doing in our business, because our team is just a representation of our systems, policies, and standards. And if we don't hold them to those things, then they're not going to retain clients like we personally would, and they're not going to have an impact like we expect they should. Okay, so the consultation. I have to say that I feel like this is where most hair services go wrong, is the disconnect in the way that certain things are communicated during the consultation. The consultation, again, is going to build trust. It's going to make our clients feel confident. It's going to build excitement. It's going to create the feeling of ease, and it's going to make our clients feel heard. These are all the feelings that we want to experience in the consultation. Everything is a feeling. So how is your team and how are you making your guests feel inside of the consultation? And being able to read body language, being able to read between the lines with communication, these are all things that are important and make a huge difference during this part of the experience. So do you have a strong consultation? Are you present? Are you making eye contact? Are you asking the right questions? Are you utilizing pictures? Are you, coming to the table with exciting ideas and suggestions? This is the example I want to give. Like, whenever I go and get a new tattoo, like, I always want my tattoo artist's opinion. Like, I will send her ideas and I will like give her like a gist of like what I'm looking for. And then she creates things for me that she knows I will like. And I chose her as my artist because I love the way that she creates, right? Like, that's why I choose her. I love her technique. I love the experience I have every time I go there. And I love her outlook and like what her perspective is when it comes to creating a piece for me, right? If I were not to have that part where she gave me suggestions and created for me, I probably wouldn't have gone back to her the dozen of times that I've gone to her. But every single time she comes with beautiful suggestions. We have to remember that people are coming to us because they look at us as an authority and they value what we are delivering and our opinion. So every single time somebody is sitting in your chair, no matter how often you have seen them, I've seen my tattoo artist dozens of times, she still delivers the same amount of suggestions every time. We have to remember we have to do that the same thing for our clients. I think we get in the habit of just doing the same thing every time. And I can't remember what study it was. I always do so much research, but I know that a high percentage of people leave their stylist because they're bored and they felt like their stylist stopped giving them suggestions. So coming to the table with suggestions, I think this is why the pre-appointment experience, the email is so important because it allows us to prepare and to create those suggestions. So when the client is actually sitting down and consulting with us, we are already have all of the things available that we want to share with them, right? We know what looks good on people. We know what works, what doesn't work, what works with certain hair textures, what works with certain hair colors, what they should expect, what they shouldn't expect, what they, the pain points that they're going to experience. These are all things we have to go over in the consultation. And we have to really position ourselves as the expert, and preparing and being prepared is how we do that. And really making sure that we're paying attention to all the things that go into the consultation, like body language, and the way that we use our words, our verbiage. These are all things that are so crucial to creating an amazing experience. And this is the consultation experience is just a small portion of that, right? We also want to make and have like the opportunity to make the client feel comfortable. This is where we're going to put them at ease, where they feel like they made the right decision in the buying process, that they're in the right hands, and that, again, we're creating these feelings at the top here and not the opposite of these feelings, like distrust, lacking confidence. We don't want to, distinguish or, put out their excitement, and we don't want to make them feel uneasy, right? Like, these are the feelings we don't want them to feel. We want to make them feel positive about everything. Melissa said, I started sending voice text so my clients can hear my tone and excitement when it comes to the salon experience. Someone having a long text of what I need to explain might not come off the way it should, and my clients appreciate and understand this better. I totally agree with this. One thing that we like to do is we like to send follow-ups with voice memos, pretty similar to what you're doing, Melissa, because people can take text the wrong way. So when they can hear the inflection in your voice and they actually hear your voice, it does create a better connection. I love that share. Thank you for sharing that. So touch points. When we talk about touch points, I think we need to understand that the experience that clients have inside of our salon, we have to touch all five senses. And we have to look at the tiny details and the pain points that clients might experience when they're in salon, right? So, the five senses is touch, smell, sight, hearing, and taste. So like, are you delivering amazing beverages? We always give snacks and treats. We always make sure that we are, Utilizing a playlist that I have specific for the salon. It's not what the stylists want to listen to. It's what is going to create an experience for the guest and a feeling for the guest. So our playlists are just based on what the client's needs are, not what the stylists want to listen to. Also visually, again, is your space set up properly? Is it, pretty to look at? Is it clean? Hearing is like, not only music, but like also like, are you using the right verbiage? Are you having good conversation? Are you holding back from conversation because you have a client that possibly doesn't want to talk? These are all things we have to think about. Does your space smell good? Does it not smell good because of like products and whatnot? How can you change that? These are all things we have to look at and really dial in on because it's going to impact the overall experience. Also, some things that we offer, we have a specialty menu with drinks and snacks. We offer lap desks for people who have to work during their appointments. We have warm blankets that we put on the client during their shampoo experience. We utilize essential oils during the shampoo experience. Also, on our actual towels, we have a towel warmer. So anytime we drape clients or are shampooing the clients, they always get a warm towel that's sprayed with essential oils and water. So these are all things that we implement inside of my salon. If you haven't downloaded the guide yet, please do so. We have links and like ideas in our guide. Again, working on verbiage with your clients, the way you speak actually makes a difference. When we are talking about, booking an appointment, oh, can we book your next appointment? I would really love to set time aside for your next reservation, right? The way that we say things matters. We don't say bleach, we say lightener, right? Like these are all things that you should really dial in as a salon owner. Remove anything that doesn't sound super, super positive and replace it with words that sound more luxurious and more expensive. And that alone will enhance the client experience in itself. One of the things that we know that clients really are bothered by is like color on their hairline. Are you really making sure that you're, careful with your application? Are you using color guard? Like these are all things. Is water dripping down your client's face after you shampoo them or, during the shampoo? These are all tiny little details that you have to pay attention to. Again, if you want an outside opinion or you really want to dial in on the pain points or the things that make clients uncomfortable during their salon experience, then just send out a survey and it will give you all the insight you need to really see the touch points that you should work on with your business and your stylist and your clients, so you can eliminate those things so the client experience is much better and more impactful. Also knowing what they need before they ask. I remember I used to sit next to my friend Shelly, who we worked together for 10 years. And I got so many, she used to get so mad at me, but I got so many of her clients because I would do things for my clients and her clients would see what I was doing for my clients. I would hand my client their drink so they wouldn't have to reach forward or ask for it. While I was doing their consultation, I would hand it for that or hand it to them. And I would, give my clients magazines. I would, give them an iPad and show them pictures. There were so many things that I did that I was providing for them before they even had to ask me. Glasses for their glasses. We had covers for their glasses so their glasses didn't get dirty. They didn't even have to ask me for those things. I would automatically have the solution for their problem before they knew they had a problem. And that's another thing that all of you should be thinking about. What are the pain points that my clients might experience during the service? It's like, can you do an extra long scalp massage? Are you asking if they even want that? Like, these are all things that we have to pay attention to. Okay, so during the service, again, we want to hit all of the senses. How are you going to shine during your client experience? Are you making your clients as comfortable as possible? Do they want a social or a silent appointment? For me, whenever I'm getting my hair done, I don't want to talk. Don't make conversation with me when you're doing my nails, if you're doing my hair. I literally just want to be quiet and I want to just zone out on my phone. And then, I have times where maybe I do want to be more social. I have some clients who want to talk the entire time, and then I have some clients who don't want to talk at all. We all know, right? But asking your client before you start the service, especially if it's a new client, is essential so you don't make somebody uncomfortable. There's nothing worse than somebody trying to make conversation with me and me just not wanting to talk. Like, I don't want to be rude and not, answer their questions, but like it just ruins the experience for me, right? And it's the same thing for our clients. Do you have things that are going to make their appointment, easier for them? Like, do you have chargers? Do you have a lap desk if you have somebody who's working? I know I already touched base on that. Is there anything else that they need to make their long sit? Like, we have clients that sit anywhere from 3 to 5 hours with extensions, more relaxing and just easier for them. Make sure you have all of those things again ready before they have to ask. And again, I'm going to go back to this, a clean, relaxing space. So again, warm blankets, appropriate music, essential oils. These are all things that we really, really work on. And then the last part of our client experience that the girls are really making sure that they are very strong in is the closing appointment. And this is going to build reassurance. Again, it's going to build trust, value, and it's going to solidify that the client made the right purchase. And again, we have the blanket warmer that we use. It's in the amenities guide. So it's one of the top twos. There's a link that you can purchase straight from there. And which I think you'll get once today's session's over. You guys will get another email with all the stuff that we gave for you today. With all the information. So again, we want to make sure that the client is happy with their purchase. They're happy with their hair. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable and the trust is there, that if there's something that they don't like, that they can absolutely communicate that to us, right? So we don't want to rush through the closing appointment. We want to make sure that we are doing a great job styling, that the hair is completely dry, that, the client feels heard. If there's something that they don't like, that we make adjustments. We want to make sure that we are, always open to making adjustments, that we don't take it personally. We all know when someone is touching like a spot that there's something there that they probably don't like. So again, training your team to read body language and to read those signs so that they know and can address them. We want to educate on products, styling, care. These are all things that clients need to go home and have information on, right? Did you rebook the client? I think that's important too. People say rebooking is dead. I don't think it is, especially if you're a stylist that has high demand, and that has, very limited time and that books out. Rebooking is so important so people don't feel frustrated trying to get back in with you, right? It's again, that feeling of frustration. It's the feeling of not feeling valued, especially if they're a good client of yours. If they're like, well, I don't understand why you can't squeeze me in or you can't stay late. If you rebook them, then there is no reason why they'll feel that way, right? Because they're already taken care of. And that there is a smooth checkout and that there's no sticker shock. I think it's so important, no matter what you're doing, and this is more evident than ever, that you talk about the price before the client, even before you even get started on the client, right? There's nothing worse when a client checks out and a client doesn't know what the cost of their service is, right? When we talk about this in the consultation and the pre-appointments, it allows them to make the decision if they want to buy or if they want to adjust their appointment so it fits within their price point or what their budget is, okay? So I didn't touch base on this, but a great way that I talk about consultations with my team and how we train my team is the ABCs of the hair service is it achievable? Is it in their budget? And what's the care, right? Like these are all things that we should be covering for the client's consultation. If it's achievable, obviously, if somebody has black box dye and they want to be platinum blonde, that's probably not achievable in one sitting, or achievable at all. The budget, we always want to talk about pricing and pricing options. And then of course, like care, can they care for it? If it's somebody who wants a bleach touch up, are they willing to come in every 4 to 5 weeks to maintain that? These are all things that we need to talk about, and we need to make sure that the client is educated and informed on before actually diving into the service that they're about to experience. So I think this is another thing that is very overlooked and is something that stylists don't really do, and that's the follow-up. And this is going to make the client feel valued. It's going to make them feel important. It's going to build trust, and it's going to make the client feel heard. There's nothing worse than losing a client because you do not follow up with them because there was something about the hair appointment that just wasn't working for them, and they don't want to reach back out to you because they don't want to bother you or they don't want to feel like they're complaining. Again, when we extend that invitation to be heard, then they're more willing to share any pain points they're experiencing at home with us, and that gives us the opportunity to fix it. And that is all that matters. It's not that we didn't meet the client's expectations sometimes. It's not that we didn't deliver exactly what they wanted. What matters is how we fix the problem that is being experienced, right? So we want to make sure that we follow up. We give them the opportunities to share anything that isn't working for them. And it gives us the opportunity just to say, hey, thank you so much for visiting me. I really value you. It is also an opportunity to ask for referrals. I really loved having you in my, my chair, and I just really felt like you were my ideal client. I would love 5 clients like you. If you know anybody who is looking for a new stylist, please send them my way. It's just something that is definitely needed, and it gives you the opportunity to ask the right questions. How is their color looking at home? We know that lighting is always different from place to place. Are you available, are you able to style your hair at home? Are there any issues with that? Do you have any questions for me? And then it also allows you to recap the appointment with products used, styling tips, and anything that you discussed about their hair. Again, this can be automated. We have created PDFs in Canva for extension maintenance, products we recommend, lightening care for people who get their hair lightened. And we literally just attach that to the email with a copy paste response, adjust it to the clients. We also will include, and this is an opportunity again for you to generate revenue. You can, if you have a Salon Interactive account, if you do not have Salon Interactive, I highly recommend it. But you can also put a link of the products that you use so that they can purchase the products from your email. And it really just shows that you value them, because I think that's one thing that clients feel undervalued after they've purchased from a business. They feel like once they've already given a business their money that they're forgotten. And I think that this follow-up is something that also just, again, makes them feel valued and heard. 4 weeks later. And this is something that you can automatically do and schedule. 4 weeks later, if you have not heard from the client, or if you want to recheck in on the client, this is what I recommend. I highly recommend 4 weeks, especially for your higher priced services or your bigger transformations. For us, this is extensions. 4 weeks, we will send out another email or a text message checking in with clients again. Our extension clients really, really love this because it gives them, again, opportunity to share anything that may be, a pain point for them. If they feel like their beads are loose, or they feel like maybe there's like a little part of their extension that's sticking out, it gives them the opportunity to come back into the salon. Again, this is creating the feeling of feeling valued, right? We're nurturing the client in between visits. Nurturing your clients in between visits is so important now more than ever, because if you're not nurturing your client in between appointments, then somebody else on the internet might be, through their social media posts, through educating, through sharing knowledge and information that you possibly might not be sharing with them, right? So this is creating connection, it's building trust, it's building that relationship that's so important now more than ever. People are craving connection and they're really showing what they need and what they want through how they spend their money, right? So we have to use the opportunity in between appointments to nurture those relationships. Again, this can be automated. We use Vogaro at my salon and I love Vogaro. It will allow you to set up auto emails and you can customize them in any way you want. You can do this through your personal email. Most email providers will allow you to schedule emails out. So you can do this as soon as they leave. You can schedule out their follow-up email, and then you can copy and paste your 4-week email and have that go out 4 weeks later. So it's a set and forget. Again, this is all things that like you can automate. So it may feel overwhelming, but really it's not. It's like 2 seconds of you just taking the time during processing time to even set all these things up. But it allows you to hit any additional touch points. It allows you that to remind them about any products. Again, if they need to rebook, if they didn't reschedule before they left, you can say, hey, it's been 4 weeks. Like your maintenance is due in another 4 weeks. I would love to do that for you. Or here's the link to book online. Please book for this service. Again, we're making it as easy as possible, right? So how can you nurture and make the client experience as seamless as you can? So now is the time to elevate and evaluate your salon. Where do you see holes and gaps in your client experience? What surveys can you send out to possibly, be shown the holes and gaps that you may have that you aren't seeing? What is your client experience from, start to finish? Can you have somebody go through that for you? Do you want to go through it yourself? But it's time to really look at your client experience and to see how you can close the gap so you can elevate that for your salon. So if you are a salon owner and you have a team, we actually have a client experience class inside of my training. You can get 20% off today if you enter in experience. If you scan this little QR code, it will take you right to the actual page that you can purchase it. The client experience training is literally 12 different training videos that cover every single touch point that your salon needs to really close the holes and gaps in your salon. It's what I use to train all of my team members in my 12-week program. And it really just really highlights and touches base on all of the tiny little details that you need to know in order to really close the holes and gaps and to create the most amazing client experience. We also gave out the PDF with all of the amenities that we use in our salon. Again, that will be emailed to everybody today after today's class. And I hope everyone enjoyed today's session. I think, again, client experience is one of the most important parts of the purchasing power that, our clients have. And it really is something that I think a lot of newer stylists overlook because they really just don't know how to deliver a client experience and they really don't understand how important it is. It's not just about the hair we do, and it never has been. And I think that when we can dial in, this is really what creates a sustainable business for us and it creates our reputation. Okay, so mention what Salon Interactive app. So Salon Interactive is a website. It allows you to sell products online. And it seriously, they do all of the work for you. So you create your own website. It's like a template that they use, and you can connect it with all of your distributors in your area. You literally can send your clients a link. They will purchase from your link. Salon Interactive will send that to your distributor. Your distributor will package up the products and ship it right to your clients. So essentially, it's an online store without having to carry all of the actual retail yourself. And it is a very easy way to sell retail, and it's convenient for your clients because most of the actual people that are like different distributors, it's like 1 to 2 business days and they handle everything for you. So I highly recommend Salon Interactive. They have so many different products and you can custom tailor your store to what you use in your salon. And it just makes the buying process for clients much easier. And it allows you to create more revenue for yourself. And I think it's 25% commission is what you make off the products you sell. And it just goes right into your bank account every week. Okay, so I hope today's session was really great for everybody. And again, this will be the replay will be available, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye.